pause this video right now. Go and read The Wager by
David Grann. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can enjoy us anyway.
You can enjoy us anyway.
You can join us anyway. Because we're about to tell you all about it. I'm Elijah.
And I'm Joseph. And welcome to the Icha Library.
Yeah, we're just rolling with that.
Yeah, of course.
We're just rolling with
you
it.
continue. I said, I will continue. Anyways, The Wager. Let me read the blurb real quick. While chasing a Spanish treasure-filled galleon, the Wager was wrecked on a desolate island off the coast of Patagonia. The crew, marooned for months and facing starvation, built a flimsy craft and sailed for more than 100 days, traversing 2,500 miles of storm-racked seas. They were greeted as heroes. So this blurb is like really short to the point. It doesn't really...
Well, this is why I don't read the blurb, because it gave it all away. And then secondly, the beginning of the book gave it all away, the ending.
100%.
They explained, guys, I can't remember what it was, guys landed in rafts and this, that and the other, blah, blah, blah. Why did it... Bruv, this is the thing. It was a novel, it was a story that was all written down. So the guys who were going through the struggles, they were noting down what was happening. So because it was a diary of sorts, we could leave the readers waiting to see if anybody made them. Maybe the book was discovered. Maybe the person died on the island, but before he did, he stuffed the book underneath some rocks, kept it dry, and it was found 100 years later. We could have had that. But they didn't.
He decided to give away everything instantly.
Yeah. But it was well worth the read. It really showcases the endurance of the human body. And it would have been interesting to see if any women would have survived if they were there. If there's a difference between our biology.
A woman aboard, isn't it?
Oh no, that would not have been good.
Yeah, no.
Let's not even. Yeah,
it's shocking.
Once again, I am reminded of how proud I am to belong to the superior gender. Men! It was men who built ships and just decided to embark on suicidal missions and journeys across the globe. They didn't even know what was out there. They just went and get it.
Thought you would fall off the world if you sailed too far. They still did it.
And they said, yeah, let's go find out.
Did it.
Crazy.
Insane.
I mean, can you imagine doing that, Joseph? Imagine if we didn't have trees or wood that didn't float or something like that. The human race would be screwed.
Legit.
We would just be stuck.
Another thing that I said, sorry to cut you off, but another thing that I said it is insane. When I started doing some research, a little bit of digging, I found out it is insane how close humans are to death all the time. Like instantly. I mean, all the time. We're this far away from dying, and it'll be like something super flimsy, like trees. If you just didn't have trees, dead straight away.
Yeah, it's the perfect concoction. So it's like, I mean, there's a couple of books that I want us to read. Obviously, it's the way I choose a book is like a formula. Like there's books I want to read, but there's books that we kind of need to read because it's what other people are reading. But there's some books that I want us to read. We got through some of them, like ultra processed people and whatnot. But there's some books we need to read about God and if God's real and this, that, and the other.
Oh yeah, 100%. That trial one that I sent you, we should read that. To be fair, the trial one that I sent you. Remember the one about the trial? Was it Rob Ryder? The trial.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll look into that. So question, Joseph. Did we invent boats or did we discover them?
I think we invented boats, but we discovered buoyancy and we discovered forces that we can use to our advantage.
Okay, but this is all right. Cool, that's a beautiful answer, right? We discovered buoyancy, but if boats are floating objects that we carve out of trees, didn't we just discover them?
So the boat is in the tree.
The boat is in the tree. Didn't we just discover it?
That's a good way of looking at it, to be fair.
Someone put that tree there. It's not like we grew the tree. Someone put the tree there and someone made it so that they float. Trees have nothing to do with the water. Why the hell do they float?
I think...
It seems like it's purposefully put there.
That's a good point, to be fair. That is a very good point, actually. But that's a very good point. But the way I was thinking about it was... I'm only going to say it 2 or 3 more times. But I thought it was... if the boat, it would have to be the boat would have to come from one tree, one boat per tree.
But that's a bit linear. That's a bit linear. I know. I've tried to open up your mind.
Yeah, see what I've done. I'm resisting. Yeah, nah. In all seriousness, though, it is.
So did we invent boats or were they discovered?
I am gonna stick with my answer. I think we didn't invent boats.
We definitely invented them, but could we have discovered them too?
I think we discovered, like I said, we discovered buoyancy. We discovered what we needed to travel. That we needed something To travel the oceans with...
Who would have thought? I know. Do you know what? They must have found like sticks floating on the water. And
that's the only possible way they could have.
No, but who's crazy enough to just
risk your neck on it, you know?
Not just that. Yeah, you got it floating. Cool. Who's just gonna row that way and hope for the best?
Into the horizon.
Crazy.
Nothing on the horizon, you know?
What you might find.
Continue going. Yeah. They thought it was gonna fall
British
off.
Empire, eh?
They literally thought, and yeah, that's what came from it. This is a quote from the book. The stranded survivors were faced with the most extreme conditions. Starvation and freezing temperatures led them to the depths of depravity. Murders and warring between factions. A few of the men succumbed to cannibalism. So this is the kind of thing that he was talking about, where they literally just told you everything that was going to happen.
Yeah.
They didn't leave any of that as a surprise.
Straight away.
But obviously cannibalism is looked at as one of the unholiest sins, a transgression beyond many that man may indulge in. Knowing what little more I now know about food and how the human body uses food, it makes me wonder, is cannibalism in these circumstances regarded unfairly? The human body is essentially a walking biofactory of bacteria and microbacteria seeking out energy. So when we're hungry, it's our brain trying to keep the level of energy we get consistent. When we're starving, it's our body on battery saving mode. Most of us in the first world have thankfully never experienced true starvation in our lives. My question is it fair for us to look down on what stranded people may have to resort to in order to survive? And how soon is too soon to resort to cannibalism?
No, that is the powerful question of it. Because obviously we can't look down on people who are struggling and surviving. And I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
I think when we see people, scraping the seaweed off rocks and whatnot, and we find out what they were doing, cool, no problem. But how soon is too soon? That's the beautiful question. So let's say, right, it's been 2-3 days. And then straight away, people stop killing people and they're eating someone. Boats turn up, rescue party.
You see what I'm saying?
The rescue party's there. Are you going jail?
I think they'll...
Is the judge going to say, whoa, you're a bit eager?
Yeah, literally, you started.
I know you like chicken breasts, but... what is the genuine accepted length of time to start indulging?
I think when delirium sets in. What
you're saying is when it's out of your control.
Yeah, well, that's when you.
Why would you let yourself get that far?
Because
if you knew you was gonna be stranded, why would you let it get that far?
Because there's some people that really just do not want to do that. They just see it as a sin. They see it as like, I'm going to hell. Maybe there might be religious reasons they don't want to do it.
It's not about whether you want to. Let's say you wanted to.
Oh, if you wanted to, that's the
first day. We're here.
Literally, let's get started.
Get while you're fresh.
Skip lunch. Hold on, what's that? I had a job a few years back where I did overnights. In the morning, 2 guys would come in. This is part of my first point I didn't finish. I had a job.
Not to do with cannibalism.
Not
to do with cannibalism.
I had a job a few years back where I did overnights. In the morning, 2 guys would come in, and funnily enough, they were both called David. There was Thin David, and then there was Fat David. We called him Graveyard David. It's a long story. Anyway, one day, Fat David asked me if I was stranded on a desert island. He was just making conversation. He said, if I was stranded on a desert island and doomed to starve, what one item would I bring? If I could bring one item with me, what would it be? Immediately, Thin David, who wasn't even in the conversation, he said, I'd bring your fat ass, then I wouldn't be doomed to starve. So he said straight away. And I was like, it's in the back of everybody's minds. In the back of everybody's minds, it's like you get to a desert island, you're doomed to starve. That is like the last resort.
And it's funny because, in human nature, you don't even see animals eating their own. And I think it's to do with, if I'm just going to take a wild guess, the reason why we eat is to gain nutrients that our body can't produce itself.
Yeah.
So if we eat in our own kind, that's not nutrients because we're now eating what we can produce.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we eat other animals, because they have nutrients in them that we can't produce. So I think that's why it's quote unquote wrong.
Humans can't produce.
It'd be interesting to see how long. And omega-3 is another one that we can't produce. There's a few. So it'd be interesting to see if how long. Well, then again, it's probably the same. How long we'd survive just eating humans? But you wouldn't last long just eating chicken anyway, because you need other nutrients. You would last a couple months.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe a year or so, but
as they proved on these journeys, like if you don't have the essentials, you'll get all kinds of diseases, bruv. But I'll get onto that.
So, fun fact: to turn a blind eye came from seamen hundreds of years ago. Basically, there was a sailor who wanted to ignore his captain's orders. So
Horatio Nelson, I think it was.
So he decided to put his blind eye on the telescope because they send signals to each other. They send signals to each other across the ship. So he turned his blind eye to his captain and said, "Do it anyway." Do you get what I'm saying? So that's interesting, and we use that to this day.
To this day, and there was a couple of times. Jesus Christ, I've used it hundreds of thousands of times. I've said these things, and I've never once wondered where they've come from. And it's just crazy. It stood the test of time, innit? The nautical terms or whatnot.
Yeah, hundreds of years that's been going on, and it's funny. It probably go on
because this is set in 1700s.
Yeah,
like it's 2024 now.
Yeah.
In Chapter 1, set in the year 1740, we are introduced to Royal Navy First Lieutenant David Cheap, who, ironically, is in debt. No money, and he's called Cheap. This is a man who is embracing his destinies. Cheap by name, cheap by nature.
Cheap by pocket.
Literally, pocket empty. Cheap hopes to captain his own Royal Navy ship, and he may get his chance, since the captain of his ship, the Centurion, is a man called George Anson, who was promoted to Commodore and enlisted to help lead the naval war against Great Britain's imperial rival, Spain. Cheap says Anson wasn't very social, but the Admiralty saw in him what I saw in him, a formidable seaman. If you're in the Navy, you have to say that with a straight face. It's just funny to me. He literally says he's a formidable seaman. And they use the word seaman so many times as well. And it's the rank. That's your title. Own it. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, so anyway, to cut a long story short, the Wager got shipwrecked and 150 men became castaways. They managed to salvage some food from their ship, but that didn't last long. So they had to feed off the island. They would boil seaweed and they would scrape off rocks, and they found wild celery. I just wanted to say, I'd cut out the bit because the book did spend too much time on going through this storm, and I think they would try to go through, let's just call it the Bermuda Triangle just for bants, because it probably was around there anyway, because that's near that's near Brazil and all that. Yeah, so America. But it was like 1,000 miles of rough seas, and when I say super rough, waves going up high, and they were battling this. They didn't want to go around it because it'd take too long, so they went through it, and they were going through it for about a month. And anyway, after a while, they got washed up and they were screwed. Yeah, go on.
Cheap's father, a Scottish nobleman, had 7 children with his first wife, and when she died, had 6 more children with his second wife. Real man. Real one. He said the show goes on. However, this is something we see less and less, men siring lots and lots of children. According to a survey conducted by the New York Times in 2018, 64% of Americans who answered the survey claimed that childcare was too expensive, hence the reason for decline in children. This is malarkey, because poor families have always had more children they can afford. There is a sociologist at the University of Maryland called Philip Cohen, and he said there are no high fertility countries that are gender equal. Basically, women have more agency of their lives than ever before, and they're choosing not to have children. My question is it irresponsible or selfish in any way to not have children? Because if you're not, what are you contributing to the advancement of the human species? Like, there's some people, for example, maybe you're a builder, maybe a teacher, maybe a doctor, maybe you're a lawyer, you're contributing to society in some way, shape or form. Like me, I'm not contributing much. I'm a bartender. I help people get drunk. It's not much, but it's on his work.
That is a fascinating question, actually. Is it selfish to not have children?
Literally, you're just here, living.
I don't know if having children is contributing. It's hard to, because obviously, in the grand scheme, it is. But in the
grand scheme, it's not. But
I would say in the grand scheme, it is.
Like we said, humans, we want to spread. That's it. The goal.
It's a virus.
The goal is to spread, regardless. So anything that serves that goal is a contribution to the human species, because we want to spread. We want you to do exactly that, just for the sake of it. Literally, you don't even have to...
The reason why I said it's not a contribution is because I was thinking about all the single mothers on benefits that are just taking...
Oh, yeah, that's what
the reason why I get taxed £800 a month is because I'm paying for their benefits. That's why I said, I don't know if it's all contribution. It's not... I don't know. I don't know.
These are the tax laws of man that we're applying to, like, the higher questions of, our own meat here, our own, species. The species wants to spread. It wants to spread. It wants to spread. It doesn't care how much you get taxed. It wants to spread regardless. You get taxed £1,000, it still wants to spread. Do you know what I mean? So
it's not an it though. It's a we.
It's a we.
But we want to spread because we have been programmed to by it.
So is it?
I don't know.
Where did
Someone,
we land on
something, collectively, I don't know. It's having children contributing.
I want to spread. So. Yeah. But yeah, no, I genuinely
I
think
13
it's a
kids
fair
is
question.
a bit much, though.
I think it's a fair question, not necessarily because you are a bad person.
Yeah, but if you're having children is contributing, so should you? So are you saying that having
better?
Yeah,
I knew you was going.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say
because it's logical progression to assume.
So is it the more the better, and everybody should be having as many as they possibly can?
I think
that takes a lot of wear and tear on a female body.
Yeah, that's true. But is there a limit on how many children is too many? Because you just said 13 is too many. I know 12 is okay.
No. There's a guy at work who's got 28.
See, that's definitely.
He's got about 6-7 women in Uganda.
To be fair,
he's got his own village.
If you're like spreading across women, then it's probably the number you can actually have goes up because like.
So it's better to spread across multiple women. That's what you're saying. That's what it sounded like. Just mathematically, is that what you're saying to your missus? Mathematically.
I might start now. Yeah, it's a good argument, isn't it?
Because a lot of women just see that as selfish and unnecessary and kind of wrong, even.
Well,
doesn't God see it as wrong?
Women can have one baby at a time. Men can have unlimited babies at a time. That can't be by accident, right? Women can have one child at a time. They said men can impregnate up to like 100. Oh, I don't even know how many what the limit is.
Infinite.
Surely it's infinite.
Infinite. As much as you can.
As many women as there are, basically.
So
is that by accident? Is that just random circumstance?
It's
God flipped a coin and said, you get this and you get that?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to move on. So, in Byron's journal, he noted, and you know what, I don't know, maybe it's a me problem. It takes me a while to get into books and figure out what's going on. Because I realised Cheek was the captain, but I think Byron was writing the journal, and then we had this person doing this. I don't know. I found it difficult to keep. I was amazed and impressed with the story, and I liked it. But I don't think it was as clear as it could have been. But
it wasn't. But to be fair, that's typically why I write like philosophical points about things that made me think, rather than the story. Sometimes I'm just waiting for the story. I'm waiting to get engaged in the story. 100%. But
let me go. In Byron's journal, he noted that a dog that the Kawazar left him had befriended him, and it took a liking to him to the point that if anybody came near him, the dog would bark. Oh no, I've gone further down. Sorry, let me take my 1 point before. So, one day, after weeks of these guys being marooned on this island, one day an indigenous people called the Kawazar people turned up, and they proved to be a lifeline. They brought sheep for slaughter, they built the seamen's poorly built structures, and they brought their women for entertainment. It wasn't before long that Captain Cheap heard word of his crew trying to seduce the women and making plans to kill the Kawazar people and take their boats. So he ordered his trustworthy men to guard the indigenous people's boats. One morning, the crew woke up and the Kawazar had left, obviously because of their actions. So humans, you're just so untrustworthy.
Untrustworthy, unscrupulous.
You ruined it for your own self, man.
Literally.
Like, out of desperation, these guys are here helping. So what these indigenous people taught them things that they couldn't do. They would dive down to extraordinary depths to get fish. Like, they would literally go to the shore and find, is it mollusks or whatever?
Yeah.
They would find seafood. And these men, because obviously these men, it's funny because they weren't really, I don't know what you'd call it, but these men they were seamen. They kind of knew how to live off the land to a certain extent, not as much as they should have, but they still couldn't look after themselves, whereas the indigenous people, they would just build up things. They did it in a fraction of the time. Literally. But yeah, these people, they screwed it for themselves because they were eating good. These men caught them fish, they dived for them, taught them certain things, and they still screwed it up.
Yeah, literally. It's nothing
Which is interesting.
Like I said, the nature of human is to be dissatisfied. Remember, I said we read the tattoo.
They were trying to seduce women.
It doesn't matter.
They were trying to take
if you're
them
in
around
good
the woman.
circumstances. It doesn't matter if you're in bad circumstances. Humans, especially Western humans, we have the same list of priorities. The list of priorities doesn't change. If you're
so it's in our control.
If you've got water, you want food. If you've got food, you want shelter. If you've got shelter, you want comfort. If you have all of those, you want a woman. Straight away.
So is it in our control?
I think it's less in our control than we probably think it is, and we probably put.
Or is it more in our control than we think it is? And we just think it's not. Do you get what I'm saying?
The step to controlling it is being aware of it, and people aren't aware of it. And that's what they're not aware of, that pattern that links us. They're not aware of like the
I think
external
as soon
forces.
as them women came onto the island, man, looking at them one time, but they thought, let's hold it back.
Bro,
a little bit.
these man, you have to forget, these man months at sea ain't seen not one woman.
They'd rather have a savage woman than no
Listen,
woman.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They ain't seen not one woman for months, 6 months at sea, 7 months at sea, 2 years at sea.
That's funny, but there was no mention of any form of masturbation.
You see
or
them
like
wearing them coconut bras.
I don't think they're wearing that, mate. You know, some of these indigenous people, to them, breasts is for babies.
Yeah,
like it's not,
babies.
it's normal sort of thing.
100%.
So they cover down below, but they don't cover anything else.
Yeah, no, crazy. The British Empire went to war over an ear. It just sounded so.
Jenkins'
it was so
ear.
funny. Yeah, it was so funny.
I didn't really pay attention to it.
No, I literally did some research into it because I said this cannot
So what exactly
be true.
happened then?
So
And
basically,
it was years later as well.
yes,
it
exactly.
was stupid.
It sounds silly, but if there is one thing that Britain knows how to do, it's wage war. So in the 1700s, Britain was selling. They were selling slaves, becoming rich, becoming powerful. Meanwhile, Spain's doing the exact same thing, selling slaves, becoming rich, becoming powerful. Both countries jockeying for continental supremacy, basically. England is a widespread language due to conquest, but in Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, the Philippines, more countries than that, they all speak Spanish down there.
And Portuguese,
so we know, I mean, I think Brazil, they speak Portuguese. Yeah. But in other countries, they all speak Spanish. There's more as well. Like
you got some African countries, Angola, that speak Portuguese and stuff like that.
Yes, you do, yeah.
I don't think we'd read it for this, but I'm interested to see the Spanish side. And
yeah,
the
100%.
Portuguese, these
Casablanca means the White House in Spanish. That's in Morocco, you know what I mean? So, like, Africa was literally monopolised. These man, the Dutch, the French, the Spanish, everybody was in there.
Everyone was
the
in
English, everybody was in there. But yeah, they all speak Spanish. So we know Spain was doing the same thing England was doing. They was beating their language into people wherever they went, literally. Yeah. In 1730, a merchant captain called Robert Jenkins was accused by the Spanish of smuggling contraband out of Spanish America, and it cut his ear off. Which he was, of course, but they cut his ear off.
Who needs an ear? If I was going to lose something, take my ear. Don't take a finger, take my ear.
I definitely wouldn't want you to take a finger. In fact,
can still hear. You don't need this. I don't even know what that's for.
Flap.
It's for earrings. That's what it is. I don't know what it's for.
I had a discussion with a friend one time.
Take the both of them. Don't leave me one though. I don't be walking around like this.
Walking sideways. I had a friend one time. I had a discussion with him. Right, and was talking about, I don't even know how we ended up talking about this, but I was talking about, would you rather lose an arm or lose a leg? And he was like, lose an arm, 100%. I said, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
you're an idiot.
Fool.
You're an idiot. I said, you can't do this, you're useless.
Yeah, useless.
If you can't do this, you're done.
What do you really need your leg for?
And he was like,
don't take one though, take two.
And he was literally, I was like, you can't. I was like, you can't go to work, you can't do anything. And this guy literally said, I'll stay at home, play PlayStation. I'm like, without this, you can't do anything. You're a joker.
I mean, this is very important.
I've seen them man running on them stilts.
Yeah,
sprinting,
they're faster than you.
Bro, they're way faster. You could be like the Kingsman now. Yeah. Chopping up things as well. But yeah, they cut his ear off. And as soon as Britain heard, they said, war! Immediately. It's like they was waiting for it. The War of Jenkins' Ear lasted nearly 10 years. Obviously now now we're in the age of relative peace, and even if there's a war, they've got the army and the navy and whatnot. Back in them times, you're fighting 100%. Even though there was no actual conscription, Britain didn't actually have conscription back then, military conscription. The navy was so poorly staffed that the Admiralty armed gangs, which are called press gangs, and dispatched them into the streets to collect seamen.
Yeah, do you know? I didn't know that they would kidnap seamen. I didn't know they would do that.
It was ridiculous.
It's just for expeditions, not even for war or anything like that.
100%.
They would go into the bars.
If you're in a pub, Southampton, Portsmouth, anywhere where there's docks, you're on the cider and you black out, you wake up on the ship.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's funny because we did see it in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, but
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know it was a proper thing.
I saw some paintings that were painted of a British press gang, and they was genuinely surrounded this guy on the street, and they was just like, yeah, give it up.
Yeah. Seamen would come home after 10 years of travel. They'd just get back to the docks, and people would see, yeah, that's a seaman, and we know him. Bang!
His family ain't seen him, you know.
Again. That's so. There's a lot of things that people have endured.
Over
the human race, should I say?
Genuinely ridiculous, but yeah.
In Byron's journal, he noted that a dog that the Kawaskar left behind had befriended him. It took a liking to him, to the point that if anybody came near him, the dog would bark. Byron said that the companionship eased the pain of the depressing situation that was all in. One day, it says, the dog started growling, and wild-eyed seamen stormed the tent, and they said they needed the dog. Byron said, for what? They said, if we don't eat the dog, we're going to starve. Byron said, no, please. And they took the dog anyway. So wait, what did he think that no, please was going to do?
Oh.
Did he think, no, wait. Did he think they were going to say,
like,
all right, no, fair enough. So why did he say it?
Well, look, the emotion, knee-jerk reaction, no please. You know how people are with their dogs. Dogs specifically. They always say dog is a man's best friend, which never made much sense to me because chickens we can't live without, and really, you know, eggs come from chickens.
Yeah, no,
cows we can't live without. Not only meat, we're talking butter, cheese, literally
leather jacket.
Literally milk. I said leather jacket, leather sofa, my leather seats.
You know this is leather.
Is it?
Yeah, it's called BV leather.
Oh, okay.
It's a weird fancy type of leather.
I'm saying it does feel like leather. But yeah, all these animals that we can't live without.
We did a vegan podcast.
I know, right? On the cow leather seats, and then we said, "Alright, stop it." Double down as well, you know.
But yeah, no, you were right though.
But yeah, like horses made people rich. There was people that only ate because they had a horse, and
to work and
dogs get to be called man's best friend.
It's protection,
but it's like dogs also eat babies, you know. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's animals that are genuinely useful and don't do anything to any human.
Dogs have probably killed the most amount of people by any animal.
It's got to be.
Unless we're talking about India, which would definitely be tigers.
Oh, ridiculous.
Because them tigers, them tigers are man-eating.
Yeah, nah.
But I didn't finish my point.
Oh, go on.
No, please. Anyway, they took the dog, and it was scrambling, and it was barking, and they took it off, and soon after, Byron noted that he didn't hear the dog barking anymore. Yeah, so I just want to say that I'm enjoying the realism. As much as I'd like this to be fictional, so that they could have built that scene up so the loss of the dog was monumental, it was still nice to experience it organically. But yeah,
it was.
You know, he should have known them days are numbered with that dog.
Of course.
They spliced and diced that dog up. And cooked it
everyone knows. Like, there's a hierarchy of animals that you eat first in these situations and end up with
you
the dog last.
I'm starving here, and there's a dog going around yapping.
And you got to feed the dog as well, you know.
And you got to feed the dog as well. And every day
dogs don't ration.
Every day that dog's wasting away.
Literally, exactly. There's less and less meat on it by the day, and dogs do not ration. Like, humans can be disciplined even if you're hungry. You can be like, save food, more so. The dog will eat. That's it.
I wouldn't want to eat a dog though. That's a bit. Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not much meat on there anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll look.
I don't think any.
That was the rats.
I don't think any. Yeah. I don't think any of that dog went to waste.
Oh, of course not.
Eyeballs.
Of course not.
That's just
literally
weird.
Yeah. But again, like you said, people endure so that we don't have to.
Yeah.
People endure and we don't have to.
Yeah. It's the reason why we've got trade all over the world, because seamen went to explore and they done these trips. They bought grain and sugar and all these things all over the world, which made corporations rich, which means they could pay scientists to invent planes.
Exactly.
The reason
why scurvy and things like that they didn't really understand, and like half of them died trips there.
We don't even know the names of the people that died in this
Genuinely.
stuff. You know, that really gave it. It's funny, we can talk about the British Empire, but they've done a lot for the rest of the world, even if it was for their own greed, because money's a tool. So the British Empire got rich, but eventually they used that money. They gave it to somebody.
Got rich selling something.
No, not just that, but they used their riches to buy stuff, which helped other people. So
other economies,
you know.
This book is doing a good job of opening us, the reader, up to the world of what it takes to be a Navy officer or captain. For example, the way ship captains learned to measure the speed of a vessel was by tying knots into a rope at even distances apart, casting the line into the water, and then counting how many knots slipped through his fingers over a period of time, which is why speed at sea level today is measured in knots rather than miles per hour. I said, crazy, didn't know that. This isn't the only example of nautical vernacular permeating the vocabulary of us mere landlubbers. In modern English, when we speak of being careful of our words and actions, we say towing the line, which is a reference to sailors standing in line for inspection. Pipe down was the boatswain's command for sailors to be quiet at night. These are the kind of things I like to see in books, things that teach me about myself. I must have used these phrases millions of times, and without ever knowing how they came to be a part of the language.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what gives books value, and what makes you go from you should read this book to you have to read this book, when they teach you things about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. History. It's history. 100%. Completely pointless. But But it's interesting. It's very interesting.
It piques your interest. You're like, oh, look at that.
Because we do these things and we ain't got a fucking clue. It's amazing how we walk through life and we ain't got a fucking clue about anything.
Literally.
We just do these things.
Know about go to work. That's it.
So next, Byron. So Byron realised. I don't know if it was Byron, if it was cheap, but in the book it says Byron realised that seamen were stealing food out of their remaining supplies. They caught the perpetrators and held a trial for them on the islands. So they've been here 6 months now. 7 months. They still, they still got a little bit of supplies that they're rationing out. When I say a little tiny little portion that they're doing every day.
They said a slice for one man was shared between 3 people of like assorted beef or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And they were frying up seaweed, boiling seaweed, foraging for food. I think they must have a seal washed up one time and they killed a seal. There was different things like they were managing to do, like out of the skin of their teeth. I think they shot a seagull.
Yeah, someone shot a seagull,
point.
and it was like, they had to take all the feathers off, debone it, all these things.
They divided a seagull up between, I don't know, 50 people with one little tiny mouthful.
Chicken scratch.
So next, Byron realised that the seamen were stealing food out of their remaining supplies. They caught the perpetrators and held a trial for them on the islands. Many of the crew wanted them to pay the ultimate price, the death penalty. After all, stealing food supplies is basically killing everybody because they're going to starve. So what do you think about that?
I think it's
because it's unforgivable. It's gone now. You put it. It's almost. I don't want to liken it to rape, but it's one of those crimes where you can't get that back.
You can't undo it, and it's the kind of thing where it's like if other people could have been disciplined, you could have as well. So it's not a case of you had to.
Selfish.
It's not a case of you had to. It's not a case of you went delirious and like something. This is calculated. It's methodical. It's premeditated. You did it.
You know what? I don't think I just changed my mind. I don't think they should be put together. I think they should go without their portions for 5, 6, 7 days or whatever necessary to make that back what they took.
Bro, they're gonna have to anyways because it's done.
No, but yeah.
Oh, you mean like, on top of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way to get it back. But that's not what happened. So, anyway. The men were all found guilty and they were sentenced to 600 lashes each.
Oh, that's a lot.
600 lashes. 600 with a maximum. So it was a maximum of 200 lashes per day. And exile. Right? Understand. Sorry.
600 is a lot.
So, Byron noted after 20 lashes, the men's back no longer looked human. It was torn up and blood soaked and they had 180 more for that day.
Yeah, for that day,
I don't think it's a good idea to be lashing people, not to that level. There's no antiseptic, there's no,
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Save your strength.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously, I've got to exert myself and my energy lashing you as much as I'd like to do it,
this is going to hurt you. Me, you heard more, this is going to hurt you.
I don't think they want to hear that. So they'd be tying them up around the tree.
Shirt ripped open,
You don't even need to rip that open, that.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Oh, that's awful.
So, yeah, so their backs would no longer look human. It'd be torn up after 20 lashes, and they had 180 more for that day, much less the next day. Bloody hell! So
the second day is obviously going to be worse.
It's actually, imagine getting an open wound lashed. Woo! Was there echo in here?
Yeah,
that was a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was.
Many of the men didn't have the stomach to continue the lashes to completion. And I think that's kind of, I don't know, isn't that kind of a sign to like...
Oh yeah, sign has gone too far, but that also means that they're better people than the guys that stole the food. Because guys that stole the food, they didn't, get there and think, I'm taking food out of... No.
Well, this is the most interesting thing, right? The captain was sure that a harsh punishment would deter any more thievery. He was wrong. Every day they caught more people stealing. So that, think about it. People's backs are getting torn up. They're screaming and shitting on themselves and everything, right? And people are still stealing food. Bro, so that just shows that
empty stomach conquers all. Empty stomach.
There's not everything going. We've never felt pain like that. When your belly's paining, something takes over. You're risking it.
Literally,
you're risking it all.
Everything.
Because me, Joseph.
Because when you see that, when you see this guy's back getting opened up, And they're hearing about how many lashes you got left.
Shitting, pissing on himself.
Yeah, you hear how many you got left for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
It's interesting with humans. Some of these emotions will drive us to ignore all senses. Because I can sit here and say right now, there's no way I'm getting lashes. You think I'm getting? I ain't stealing nothing.
I'd rather be hungry.
But you say that.
Until you're in that situation.
You ain't felt that.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
So I think maybe we should just shoot them because you be lashing everyone. If you see that and you're still stealing.
Yeah, that means it's lashing and working. That means it's clearly not working. Yeah, it's clearly not works. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. During the age of sail, mid-16th century, it was estimated that 50% of a ship's crew on a major sail would die from scurvy. This was a major limiting factor in why chunks of the world went uncolonized for so long. It's because nobody could get there. The journey was too long. You would just die from being on the ship for too long.
What was caused? It was
Yeah, I was about to say. The only way to get anywhere was sailing. If the journey was too far, you'd die from scurvy. The disease is described as the worst pain imaginable, with weakness in the joints, hair, teeth falling out, and skin turning blue and then finally black before death. And these are the things that you knew was going to happen if you went on the ship. And people still went on the ship to build up British Empire, build up the economy, build up all these things. This sounds like an extremely serious and deadly plague, right? The cure? Oranges. Scurvy is brought about by a deficiency in vitamin C, which is essential for collagen, building connective tissues in the body. Medicine is so crazy, and humans are always this far away from death. If you had diarrhea before the 1800s, you were going to die. You were going to die. There was no cure. Go to the doctor, he'd be like, tie this dead frog around your neck. They said, this is actually so serious, diarrhea kills 440,000 children a year.
What now?
Yeah. Diarrhea kills 440,000 children a year. I said, what?
In what country?
It's not this country, I know that, but they said annually, diarrhea kills 440,000. I found that on, I think, the World Health Organization.
Bloody hell.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Maybe I should go see a doctor.
Don't leave any marks on that seat, you know. That's DV leather.
BV.
Oh, BV.
Yeah. So, Cheap was the captain, and after being stranded on the island for over 100 days, a power struggle started to fester. So they all had a plan to build a boat, partly made from the wreckage of the old one, and timber from what they could cut down on the island. Most of the men wanted to sail using the lakes to Argentina, where they could get a safe passage back to England. The Captain Cheap said, "That's not happening. We're building this ship to meet at the rendezvous point so we can complete our mission." Because remember, they set off to try and they wanted to steal some gold from Spain, right? The men didn't like that one bit. So, the cheat. Imagine being stranded on the island. Everyone's wasting away. You've been there for 100 days. That's about 3, 4 months, 5 months, or whatever, right? And the captain says, "Yeah, we're not going back to safety. Go home."
He said, "Mission ain't done.
We ain't even got there yet." Can you imagine? They didn't even get to the mission yet.
Yeah, job finished.
Bloody hell.
Job's not finished. He literally said, "We are rendezvousing with our commanding officer." Because he literally said, "We've got orders, mate, about we've literally got orders.
Yeah.
We don't go home till the..."
So it got brutal on the island. You know, so the captain murdered someone for one.
Yeah,
the captain murdered someone. But what happened is people started making. It was like not coalitions, but it was people just started breaking off. People started whispering over there, meeting up over here, and then you don't know who because the captain's still the captain. And the way I would have seen it, so Cheap should have been smarter than what he was, and he should have realised, once we're marooned, we need to do what's good for the best for all of us.
100%.
We need to do what's good for all of us, because I ain't got no power here, for one.
Yeah, nah.
And for two, hunger takes over all.
The only power he really had is that if anybody knew that they basically disobeyed the command officer, they get hung. That's the only power
that
he
is
really had.
not good for you. Because that means it means kill the captain.
Mutually assured destruction. Exactly.
Kill the captain and we get away.
Exactly, it's mutually assured destruction, which isn't really power. It's just a threat that he could rely on. But yeah, no, 100%. He should have been smarter about it. He should have realised, that don't put them in a position where they have to kill you, which is essentially what he did. Put them in a position where they had to kill him or had to go against him.
I got 2 points left.
Alright, let me go. The captain goes down with the ship, I used to think it was just a tradition for personal honour reasons, but apparently if a captain survives the sinking of his ship, he may face a court-martial for running His Majesty's ship aground due to willfulness, negligence or other defaults. So if you make it to tell the tale...
And they can hang you for that.
Yeah, legit.
They'll hang you.
Literally, at the bare minimum, you're getting your rank taken away and dismissed from the Navy in disgrace. But like, if it's something super serious, like they literally said they hung an admiral.
Yeah,
and,
just,
you're a captain.
just to make everybody fix up.
Exactly, 100%. Clearly it didn't work. But if you make it to tell the tale, they'll be like, that sounds awful. So how did you survive? Oh, you fled. Oh, glad you're okay though. Literally get rid of you.
Literally.
But the absolute first thing I would have done after the cruise marine, collect everybody's weapons. That is the first thing to do. If you start if a shootout starts for any reason, it's done. Which he did actually do. When I wrote this, I didn't know he did it. And then
he did because he gave all the higher ranking ones.
Which was a smart move to be fair. But at first, absolute first thing you got to do is everybody put their weapons in it because we can't. I'm sorry, we can't have that. Camaraderie is the only chance of survival, and hunger does funny things to a man's willingness to cooperate. The second suggestion I would have... Hold on. Oh, why is what calling me? The second suggestion I have is quite left. I don't think I would have done it. I'm only bringing it up for dramatic licensing reasons. In the ancient Roman Republic, there was a practice called decimation. In today's language, we use the words decimated and destroyed interchangeably, but decimate actually means reduced by 1/10. Technically, it was a punishment. Roman soldiers swore never to break rank and flee from the enemy, and so when the armies of Crassus ran from Spartacus, he made them draw lots to see who would live and who would die, and executed 10% of his own army at random.
Why?
Because Roman soldiers swear we don't break rank and flee from the enemy, and they ran from Spartacus, and he literally says, my first battle is now a loss forever in the history books. So he said, all you lot draw lots, I don't care who was involved, I don't care who wasn't. So that means next time, you're going to pattern up, because you're not going to think I'm safe because I wasn't involved. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. You're going to make sure, if I hear any talk about any kind of, it's not happening. It's a fairly macabre suggestion, but Cheap could have said, we don't have enough food for all of us. If we tried to feed everybody, we'd probably starve to death. Let's draw lots, shoot 10% of the survivors at random. Not only is there fewer mouths to feed, there's also more meat. Obviously, it's a left suggestion. I wouldn't even have done it. I wouldn't even have done it because their power was in their manpower already to build stuff or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But it would be fair.
I think they should have started utilising human meat sooner. So then people that steal, bang, straight on the pot. You know, and people kept stealing, bang, straight on the pot. You know, instead of exiling them. What's the point of exiling them? For them to just go and starve there? Yeah, literally. Don't make any sense.
Literally, you steal from us, you steal our meat, we steal your meat.
I know which part you want most of all.
I want the thickest part, the butt cheeks. Save that for me.
I was talking about that, but yeah. You want sausage, hot dog?
Frankfurter.
Oh no, maybe that woman was right. What about men? Maybe we do just make big jokes. Maybe she was right. Oh gosh.
Literally, I do not have much percent left. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. Oh really? Yeah. I'm full.
Yeah, not even drinking it all up. Should we to go again? Because I've got four left, 3 left.
No, I'll go then. Well, go on.
I've got 3 left. You're not you and you're hungry. After a week of being marooned on the island, Captain Cheap begins to notice hunger affecting the behaviour of his men. Earlier, I likened the human primate to a factory because we behave in similar ways. We consume energy, food, water, heat, and pollute the environment with waste byproducts. In the case of the factory, it would be smoke, I guess, polluting the air. With humans, it's carbon dioxide and feces. Factories like to be in constant production, and so does the human body. So much so that your personality, not only your body weight, is affected when you don't get enough to eat. This is why Islamic countries observe Ramadan. Disconnecting oneself from the desire of food and eating only for sustenance for 30 days is a helpful practice for discovering who you actually are without food. In 1945, test subjects had their calorie intake reduced by 50% over a 6-month period as an experiment.
Was this in the book?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I thought so. Because
many became depressed, conniving, and irritable. One subject proclaimed, "I'm going to kill myself," then turned to the scientist and said, "I'm going to kill you." And it's just super crazy what happens to people when they haven't had their Snickers, basically. They haven't eaten. Yeah. Just your personality just goes out.
Because your body turns off certain functions that it doesn't need to survive. It doesn't need you to be this happy individual. It just needs you to get food. So it's trying to keep you alive, which is quite interesting. But long story short, a mutiny took place with one party going south and one party going north. I can't believe Captain Cheap's party took 2 months sailing and rowing just to turn around and go back to Wager Island. So what happened? Nah. They was trying to sail north to the rendezvous point, but they couldn't get past this. I think the water went up, and they couldn't get to the mouth of wherever it was. Yeah. And they were rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing, and they pulled up the boat, and then they stayed there for a couple of days, and they were rowing. They sailed for 2 months on this small food, and then they said, "Yeah, let's just go back to Wedge Island. It feels like home anyway." Which is crazy. And then
it must be so disheartening.
2 months they sailed, and they got to sail right back.
Oh God. If they couldn't find Wedge Island, then they'd be really screwed, didn't it?
So the other party sailed for 2 months, and by some stroke of luck, they made it to Salvation in Brazil. I actually understand why the captain wanted to complete the mission, though, because he can't go back to England empty-handed and without the ship.
Yeah, that
so
he
can't
do that.
You know.
Hold on, let me get the charger, please.
Yeah, your phone's done.
It's on its last legs. My phone's hungry.
It's not gonna reach. Oh wait, we've got this. Oh.
Thanks.
Go on, say yours, and then if he dies, he dies.
Literally, mutiny most foul. The remaining survivors begin to develop doubts in Captain Cheap having the best interests of the community at heart. They make plans to depose him as captain and transfer emergency powers to his deputy, Lieutenant Baines. As they surround the captain to arrest him, however, Baines loses his bottle and abandons the mutiny at the last second. Does that make him more honourable or less honourable? I don't know, because I was thinking, he kind of sold out everybody, and he knew, he kind of agreed with them in secret.
He walked
to the devil on Monday and the Lord on Sunday.
I think he's probably the worst of the worst. You should kill him.
Yeah, he's a
double traitor.
He's a rat. He's not even
a double traitor.
Yeah,
he's not a double traitor.
He's betrayed both factions.
Double agent. He
literally because double agents have a person that they're loyal to. No one knows. No, double agent. That's what it means. It means have a person they're really loyal to, but just no one knows who he is. He literally snitched on both factions. He has no one he's loyal to.
I don't know.
So like Snape.
Wait. So would you have him as your?
No,
you wouldn't. Even though you know he's gonna come back to the right side.
We didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't. Remember, in the end, he was the one who wanted to get to London first to get his story on the record. Remember, they said he went ahead, so he's just betrayed everyone all up and down.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. I got one. Hold on one second. What did I put? Yeah, he loses his bottle and abandons immunity at the last second, and it's difficult for me to make up my mind on whether that makes him more or less honourable. Is a man who follows orders in the face of what he believes will be certain death honourable, or is he just stupid?
No, but at the same time, Captain Cheap was crazy though.
Oh, 100%.
Why is he telling us to go north? To where we don't know, to a rendezvous, jump on a ship to
fight on empty stomach. What's wrong with him?
What? Like, so that does make the number 2 honourable then, because he should have been a mutineer. He should have. You finished?
Yeah.
One thing that this book does do is an argument that the British definitely aren't as racist as I thought they were. If you read the history books, it seems that the British singled out other races and killed them in the thousands. Whilst that is true, it wasn't anything personal. The British, under the orders of the royal family, would kidnap British men, innocent British men, and effectively send them to their deaths on suicidal missions around the globe. They effectively sent millions to their death. So if that's what the British life was worth, then it makes sense for the British men to see everybody else as even less important or valuable. As humans, we are predicated to love, value, connect with our family, i.e. people like us, so it makes sense that the British would be even more ruthless and brutal with everybody else. Because they were ruthless and brutal with each other. That's so true. It doesn't seem. So as I said, it seems like the British think, oh yeah, those are savages. Let's hate them. But it was a case of it just was a brutal world. It's as simple as that.
Literally. And it's kind of like look at the terrain in England. Not much grows here. It's look at the weather. It's like a harsh country. Yeah, it's like harsh by nature.
Gotta go.
100%.
I think the Spanish didn't have any excuse because they got
sunny climate.
I've never been to Spain, but I know there's some. I know it's kind of. There's a reason why it's probably the most popular destination.
Yeah, holiday destination. It's Tenerife in Spain.
It's off the coast or something like that.
The trial at the end was a bit anticlimactic.
No, I think that was exactly what should have been done. Because basically, long story short, this is why I don't really like divulging the ending too much, because you should go. This is a book you should go and read. It's very, very good. But basically, they all make it home. Well, not everybody, but the main parties, the usual suspects, made it back basically.
Yeah.
And they stood a trial because one person started writing books and making a pretty penny.
Oh, well, to be
and the
fair,
captain made it back.
Before that, it was Lieutenant Baines, the guy that betrayed both factions. Obviously, they deposed the captain, left him there on the beach with like 10 others. They literally just left him for dead, sailed off. Obviously, they found their way to Brazil, got captured by like the Spanish, and like all kinds of ordeals
2 years in prison. Yeah.
Exactly, 2 years in prison. And Baines, the guy who was the second in command, who even led the mutiny, he ran back to London and said, "Look what they did! They killed the captain." Do you know what I mean? It's like snitching on him. He wanted to get his story on the record first because he's a lieutenant.
So then,
these men are just regular guys.
So then the captain came back pissed, saying everybody need to get hanged.
Oh, he literally said, "You're all gonna." Which is, to be fair, he's not to be blamed for. He
was livid. His men mutinied and then left him for dead.
Yeah, no.
I don't know how he made it back. I think they explained, but anyway,
they did explain.
So anyway, the government are like, we need to act now, which I think is stupid because that all happened out there. Screw that. You lot, you're making it home. Enjoy. So anyway. They did a trial and the government basically just said, they let them all off.
They basically said, did you notice any problems with how the captain ordered the ship? They all said no, they said go home.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
They didn't ask any questions about mutiny, they didn't ask any questions about the guy that captain shot in the head, they didn't ask no questions about anything. Yeah. And
which I think is good.
Captain, well done. Here's your new ship. Give him the keys. And that was it. And I was like, that's how I'd expect a government to actually act, to be fair. But it's like,
they did break the law.
Because of how it's portrayed to be back in them times. They take mutiny quite seriously. I thought there was going to be some hangings.
Yeah.
I did think there was going to be some hangings. Would I have wanted? To be fair, I wanted there to be some hangings. Let me clarify. I wanted to see them make the short drop and the sudden stop. I wanted to see it swing. Because it was literally just the injustice of it all. They actually did just take this guy's shit and leave him on the island to die. Like, they didn't even take him as a prisoner, which they could very well have done.
No, but they would have to feed him.
Of course, they'd have to feed him. But literally, just see what you're saying right there. We've got to feed him.
Just leave him behind. Yeah, it's a nice option.
Let him starve to death. Like, Jesus.
But I know
you disagreed with, like, how he was running his team, but is he not still, like... There's no...
No, because if we take him as prisoner, that means as soon as you get back, you're all getting hung.
Well, look, that's true. It's like, in exchange for your life... Which he has no obligation to.
As soon as you get back to England, he's stepping off the boat. You're all getting hung for mutiny.
Yeah, literally.
One time.
Why he put himself in that situation though? He literally should have just changed.
Yeah, but you got to remember, the captain wasn't thinking straight either. He was malnourished.
Yeah, he was delirious.
Yeah, so no one was thinking straight. So yeah.
Nah, he said what he was always gonna say. What he said.
Listen, you said it. You literally made the argument that we are incapable of thinking straight when we're hungry, when we're depressed. Yeah. Your personality. Nothing was firing correctly.
But that's crazy because everybody else wanted to go home and only him, and they was all hungry. Do you know what I mean? They was all hungry. But
he probably wanted to go home. No, he probably wanted to go home too, but he had a duty.
Yeah,
so he was doing the right thing, but
technically,
I don't know what the right thing. He had his orders, and they all soldiers. So yeah, but yeah, this was a very, very good book.
Definitely.
It's cheating, obviously, because it's fiction.
Yeah,
it's non-fiction. Sorry,
non-fiction.
Non-fiction. But yeah, no, it's definitely well worth the read. Hopefully we ain't spoiled it all for you.
I mean, there's spoilers in the title of the video and the description for every single video, so it's your fault.
You shouldn't have watched this.
Should have known.
If you're worried about spoilers. But you know now what's happened. It's too late now.
It's too late.
We've got some books for next week that we'll be reading, so if you do want to discuss them with us, it is called... One's called... I forgot. Did I send it to you on WhatsApp?
I don't know.
I did. One's called James by Percival Everett, and one is called The Anxious Generation, which I'm actually quite interested to get into that one. So, yeah, we read 2 books a week for you guys so that we can discuss them with you. So, show some fucking appreciation, please.
Literally shows.
Write some comments if you could, it'd be nice. But if not, till next time.